So one comment that is frequently talked about when it comes to Willow is it being this sanctuary, this place of real peace and relaxation. And that is tangible, so you can feel it the second that you walk through the door. And that isn't created by accident. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you one super powerful tool that I use as part of my personal development in creating this real sense of calm, even in the midst of chaos.
Welcome to Willow, your multi-award-winning salon, bringing you weekly tips on all things wellbeing and beauty.
So, in today's video, I'm introducing you to a technique as old as writing itself that I have used consistently over the years, and it is one of those tools that is in my personal development tool bag. So over the years I have developed this tool bag of various different tools and techniques that I can draw upon at various different times in my life, depending on what I feel drawn to and what is most needed at that time. So today I am talking to you about journaling. So here's a cross section of some of mine. I have quite a few of them for different purposes. And journaling is fantastic because it's like having your own personal therapist, okay? There's nothing complicated, there's nothing complex about journaling. It's literally a space for you to express some of those thoughts and feelings and whatever's going on inside of you. It's a chance to get that out. And that's really the point of journaling. Okay, so one of the real benefits of journaling is something that I refer to as a brain dump. It gives you the opportunity to get the stuff out of your head and out onto paper. What very often happens when we're in a state of stress and anxiety is those thoughts run rampant, particularly if that's combined with not sleeping well, and then you're waking up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and struggling to get back off to sleep because all of these thoughts just keep going round and round and you can't get rid of them. One of the best things you can do is to physically get those thoughts out onto paper. This doesn't need to be anything complicated. Just grab a sheet of paper and a pen and just write those things out. No one else is going to see this. This is your personal private space, in the same way that it would be the case of if you went to see a therapist. So protect that space, it's yours, and just allow yourself to get all of that stuff out of your head and onto paper. Now, this works on a lot of levels, okay? So there is a part of the brain that is responsible for finding the answers, okay? It's almost like, you know, if you imagine a soldier that you're sending out and you've set that soldier some orders, and so it goes out and it will find every which way to complete those orders. Very similar setup in the brain. So if you are plagued by questions and scenarios that have no answer to because they are an existential question, or they're hypothetical scenarios, or you are pre-thinking every worst case scenario going, there's a part of your brain that will actively, consistently try to find the answers, which is why you feel like you go around on loops. So what we need to do is get those questions, get all of that stuff out of our heads and onto paper. And from that place, we can start approaching it a bit more logically. So we can go, you know, is it appropriate for me now to be worrying about this? Is this a genuine concern? Is this something that can happen? And we can start addressing it. And what happens more often than not is that once you've got all of these things out of your head and onto paper, you look at them and go, well, that's a load of rubbish. I don't need to be holding on to all of this. And the great bit about using a bit of paper or writing in a journal, you can rip the page out and put it in the bin and be done with it. So that's like the number one bonus, if you like, of journaling. You get this opportunity to just dump everything out of your head onto paper, and then you can deal with it in a much, much easier way. And it then stops this soldier constantly finding the answers, because it now doesn't need to, because you've acknowledged it and you've got it out. The second thing is that journaling enables us to access another state of consciousness. So our brain is very much like an iceberg. We've got our conscious mind, so all of the things that you are aware of, that you're thinking, the beliefs that you've got, all of that stuff that you can recall very quickly is all the conscious mind, and that's like the tip of the iceberg. And then with all the icebergs, the greatest mass is underneath the surface, right? And that's then where our subconscious and our unconscious lies. And that's the biggest part, but that's the part that's mostly hidden. And very often, when we are just in our conscious mind and we're just on the tip of the iceberg and we're just on the surface, we get stuck there. And if we really want to create genuine shifts and changes in our thinking and our thoughts, and start creating real change in our lives, we have to do that on a subconscious level. We have to drop down deeper into the iceberg. And the way that we can do that is through journaling. There's lots of different ways. Like I said, I have a big tool bag of different techniques that I draw upon. Journaling is one of them. And what journaling allows us to do is almost have a conversation with our subconscious. So there are questions that we can ask if we don't know the answer to, and we can write out the question in our journal. And as long as we're in, we've put ourselves into like quite a nice, relaxed, safe space, we've created a bit of time for ourselves, it allows our unconscious to come through and have a voice. And I have lost count of the amount of times that I have sat down to journal early in the morning, and I've had one thing on my mind about, this is what I need to do to sort out this problem, and this is how I need to move forward. And then I've sat down and I have asked my subconscious what it thinks in my journal, and it has come out with something totally different and so much easier, with so much less effort, and it's something that I wouldn't have consciously thought about. So it's like journaling is an avenue to opening up this whole wealth of knowledge and information and wisdom that you might not otherwise have access to if you're just going about kind of your everyday life. So there's real power, there's real shift that can happen as a result of allowing that conversation with your subconscious to happen. And journaling is a really easy way to do that. The third thing to note when it comes to journaling, a lot of people have resistance to it because they have all of these beliefs about they're not being a good writer, maybe they're dyslexic, maybe their spelling and grammar's not great. I want you to drop all of that around writing, and I want you to just imagine the journal as your therapy space. If you were to sit and be in a therapy room with somebody, whether that's having a physical treatment or whether that is sitting with a coach or a counsellor, at some point, in order to make that treatment or that therapy most effective, you would have to drop some of your preconceived ideas about that and just allow the process to happen. And it's exactly the same with journaling. It's your private, sacred, safe space. It doesn't matter whether things are spelt wrong or whether You don't even write incomplete sentences. I think I have a latest journal entry for me where I was having a particularly bad day, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, that was my journal entry for the day. I just needed to scribble and just get some stuff out. So drop any preconceived ideas you have about what it needs to look like and whether this is good for you or not, and just go with what feels right. It may even be that you prefer to speak that out, so maybe you do that into a voice app on your phone, or you feel compelled to grab some paints and do things that way. So just allow yourself to open up to different possibilities. One of the biggest blockages I see to people starting journaling is this whole set of beliefs around what journaling should be, and honestly, it's whatever you need it to be. It's all about giving yourself that space to tap into your subconscious to create the shifts and access all of this wisdom that you might not have accessed otherwise. So that's like a super brief introduction to journaling. I could go on forever about this. It's a tool that I've used for many, many years. And like I said, it's one of many different tools and techniques we can use to start shifting our awareness from our consciousness to our unconscious and our subconscious. And that's really where change happens. So if you're interested in building your own personal development toolkit to help you navigate emotions and thoughts and just become the best version of yourself possible, then do check out our Thrive community, where honestly you've got my whole wealth of experience and tools and techniques that I've used over the years for myself and for clients. So it really is an amazing hub. So that's my introduction to journaling. I have put together a free guide for you which takes you through some ideas about journaling. It gives you some questions and prompts to get started with. So I'll include the link in the description here. Do check that out. It's totally free, purely because I'm really passionate about people accessing this tool and not being scared of it. Okay, so enjoy, have some fun, enjoy the creativity of it, enjoy creating this space for yourself, and I'll be back with you very soon.